Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar on cybersecurity framework for NBFC. My name is Mona Lisa Bhagat, and I'm a manager at Rispro India. We shall wait for a couple of minutes for the other participants to join in. Thank you. Good evening again. Thank you for joining the webinar. I would like to give you a brief overview of our company, Brispro India Ventures Private Limited. Brispro India is a risk advisory consulting firm. We are in this business since 9 years with our head office in Mumbai and presence in 7 other cities. We have served 500 plus clients and we are a team member of 60 plus with 10 plus strategic partners. We have our 4 business verticals: risk advisory and assurance, technology, training, and recruitment. In risk advisory and assurance, we conduct GDPR, SSA 18 audits, IFC reviews, risk-based internal audit, IT audit, etc. With respect to technology, we provide software for legal compliance management, internal audit software, third-party risk management, robotic process automation, etc., through our technology partner firms. In training, we conduct in-person and online trainings on topics like ERM, risk assessment, AML, info security, as per your company requirements. In recruitment, we provide full-time or part-time internal auditors and virtual risk managers for audit and risk requirements. So today's webinar will be for 60 minutes, out of which 10 minutes will be for question and answer session. During the webinar, all the participants will be on mute mode, that is listen only mode. If any of the participants would like to ask any question, they can write in the questions tab. It will be answered at the end of the webinar. If any of the participants are facing any difficulty in viewing the screen shared or listening to the presenter, I would request you to kindly log out and log in the webinar. In case the issue continues, I would like you to drop a message and our technical person will look into the same. Today's webinar is given by Mr. Ashok K. Agarwal, who is a Senior Vice President for Risk Advisory with Rispro India. He has been a part of Risk Advisory with more than 25 years of IT leadership experience in IT risk and assurance, information security management. He has completed his postgraduate in economics and his other qualifications are CISA, CRISC, ISO IC 2001, ISO 27001, SENS. He has worked in multiple banks like Punjab National Bank in Delhi, Axis Bank, DCB Bank in Mumbai, and Bank Dhofar in Muscat, heading technology audit. He has led and managed multiple technology audit assignments for clients in BFSI, NBFC, and insurance sectors, including cybersecurity. He has a proficiency in IT risk analysis and developing a risk-based internal audit framework and concurrent audit of data center activity. As principal project assurance lead, he has done a health checkup of core banking solutions, adopting Big Bang approach. He has introduced innovative use of data analytic techniques in Axis and DCB Bank and has rich experience in establishing IT governance across all IT solutions operations. I would now hand over the webinar to Mr. Ashok.
Good evening, friends. Am I audible?
Yes, Mr. Ashok.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody who has joined this webinar despite their busy schedule. Today, topic of webinar is cybersecurity framework for NBFC, as per mandated by RBI. Let us discuss something about the NBFC sector. NBFC sector has grown in size and complexity. As per the RBI data, in March 2014, the asset size was 14.5 lakh crore. It increased to 32 lakhs crore by September 29. So more than double in 5 years. Second change in the NBFC is the emergence of digital lending platforms. Means NBFC are offering hassle-free loans to retail individual, small trader, and other borrowers. And third is the online alternate delivery channel. As you know, as sectors matures, achieves scale, definitely cybersecurity readiness is utmost importance. Here I would like to share with you the bank director is one of the forum who does the survey for financial institution, and they have done the survey for financial institution for 2019, which include banking and non-banking for all sides across the globe. The member of this forum is mostly director, CEO, CRO, CISO, CIO, all executive level category are there. And the opinion of all these leaders is about cybersecurity. Means if the leader talk about their concern, worries more about the cybersecurity, it is around 83%. Even the compliance, which is 54%. So that way, cyber security is a area because it is a more dynamic. Okay, one. So and now, sorry, I move to the next slide. What is why the cyber security review is required? As you know, RBI has mandated some master direction in the year 2017 June to all NBFC for framing their information technology framework, which include the cyber security framework also. Basic two objectives are there. Each NBFC should conduct a gap analysis comparing with the master direction issued by the RBI by 30th June 2017, and whatever identified gaps are there, they should make it comply by June 2018. And post implementation, they should do the periodic review of this security posture of the organization. So cyber security review is utmost important because it provides an assurance on cyber security readiness of an organization against the dynamic cyber threats. Here we are focusing basically on the what are the main pillar RBI has given in their master direction. So they are the 7 pillar, or you can say chapter, which talks about the IT governance piece, IT policy piece, information and cyber security, IT operations, IS audit, business continuity, and IT service outsourcing. NBFC, this master directive categorized in two categories, means NBFC having asset size up to 500 crore or beyond 500 crore. So beyond 500 crore is systematically important, and up to 500 crore is not that important. So let us focus on what is IT governance. As you know, IT governance IT governance is an integral part of corporate governance. It means it is a subset of corporate governance. Basic principle of IT governance is the value delivery. Are your organization delivering the value based on the business objective? Second is the IT risk management, IT resource management, and the performance management. So here there should be some kind of IT organization structure in place in an organization. It means NBFC should have a IT organization. IT organization structure basically two level. One is the strategy level, which we call a IT strategy committee. Who are the member of this committee? Normally board of director, CEO, all business executive, CIO, CTO, and the second level of the committee is the more on the operating level, that is we call a IT steering committee. So the what is the purpose of, because IT governance flow from top to down, means if leadership support is not there, it is very difficult to set a IT governance, IT security governance eco structure in an organization, because leadership support the implementation and ensure that the organization will sustain or extend business strategy and their objective at any point of time. So let us talk about what is IT strategy committee. IT strategy committee, who are the member? So member, which I talked to you, various members are there, but there is a prime requirement of the independent director. Independent director, the chairman of this IT strategy committee should be the independent, means he should not be part of the organization. That is the control we check, and the purpose of this having independent is he can evaluate, assess on each aspect of IT implementation and give his own view. And this committee at least should meet at least once in the 6 months. And there can be a kind of partner relationship with the board committee and the senior management. So basic role of this IT strategy committee is, one is the approving all the policies and strategic documents, come out with 3 to 5 short and long-term strategy, ascertaining whether IT deliverables mean IT projects which are implemented or going to implemented deliver value to the business, and provide a high level direction for sourcing and use of IT resources. And so that way, the role of IT governance is set the tone in the organization. If IT governance is, safe or is not effective, definitely there may be a problem in implementation of the information securities. Second is the domain is the IT policy. IT policy, basically there is some kind of IT organization who is headed by, in each organization, whether NBFC, it is headed by IT head or the CIO. And CIO is the connecting link between the business as well as the IT. So that way the CIO position should be there as per this directive, and the CIO should be a senior executive of an organization. The organization structure should be in such a way that it should have some kind of ownership at each level, and the person who is designated as a CIO should have a technical competency, say for particular year, 5 to 7 years of the experience in the technology domain, and so that he can give his own view while implementing those projects. And all these resources should be provided the a periodic the training to upgrade their skills. So here the purpose of this webinar is, while we are assessing the risk in the NBFC, we should focus on which are best suited to the NBFC business ecosystem. Accordingly, we have those are properly implemented or not. So the control, basically there are the two level. One is the design level. Design level means policy procedure, whether those policy procedure there. Second is the implementation level. So that way we have to verify the whatever control is framed, where those are operating effectively. The third domain is the information and cyber security. Information and cyber security, let us understand what is information. Information means anything which has a business value, anything have a business value is an asset. That asset required a protection. So what is the asset? Asset could be your customer data, your any application systems, your business plan. So the information is most critical, that should be protected. So that is the, let us we should discuss the main area. Then some terminology in the information cyber security. So this is about the information. Second is what to be protected. So there are three area of the information security: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Confidentiality means information should be accessible to the authorized person. Authorized person means those who have access to the information. If information is sensitive and sensitive information is available to the executive, so it should not be accessible to the other than executive. Integrity means, are we maintaining accuracy and completeness of information while on rest or on processing method? Say for when you are capturing information through an application, so the integrity of information means accuracy and completeness of information is properly safeguarded. And third is availability. Availability means data or information or system should be available at the point of need. So now what is risk? Risk, here we can say there is a threat. say for what is threat? If any event which can cause and damage to the organization system, or the network. You can take an example, say for virus. Virus is the threat. Okay. Similarly, what is vulnerability? Vulnerability means weakness in the process, in system, in network, or in organization. So when any threat exploit the vulnerability for any part of the asset, is called a risk. So something that can potentially, so a possibility which can cause a damage to an asset, so which is shown as a three in the red. So this particular red portion is the risk. This risk should be uh, we should three type of control are there: protective, detective. Protective means what kind of protective control can we put in to bring this risk to the tolerance level of the organization. Now, in technology parlance, suppose these confidentiality, integrity, or availability, these are the goals. How we can achieve it? What is the method of achievement? Confidentiality means when you are accessing any application, there is a user ID and a password. Password is the authentication, and you are getting some kind of privilege is the authorization. And how we maintain the confidentiality of the information? By encrypting the information. When you encrypt, the information should be readable to the authorized person. So that way, the if goal is the confidentiality to protect an assets, eh, so what is the method of achievement? Through encryption, yeah, authentication, or authorization. These are the various method of achievement of the confidentiality as the goal. And how we can achieve it? By applying those various kind of encryption are there, various kind of one time password are there. So various PGP is various kind of tools are there. So whether those tools or techniques are applied or not. Similarly, if there is a integrity, we have to check. So integrity, how you can enforce it? eh? So there should be some kind of cryptographic algorithm. uh, where so this cryptographic algorithm, just like a password. When you are applying the password is encrypted with particular MD5 and kept as a hash value. So these kind of how the integrity of information is maintained. There could be one could be the encryption mechanism, or another could be applying some kind of digital signatures also. Similarly, availability is the security goal. How we achieve the availability? You should have a redundancy. Redundancy means if particularly network path fail, we should have an alternate path. If information is not available, we should have information on the backup. Backup should have a particular backup recovery time. If particular process is failed, so there should be some failover method. So these are the approaches we should look into. And how we can achieve? There are various tools are there. So RAID is the a kind of concept is there, where all information is stored in multiple segments. So these are the various RAID backup software or various tools are available to achieve the availability. Similarly, the non-repudiation is the objective on a security review. Then digital signatures, eh, fingerprinting, one way has come. We introduce the digital signature PKI certification. That is the ultimate tool. If you say how we can enforce the accountability, so means account you can enforce that event log should be logged, the log should be logged, that should be analyzed. So that is the view. Hello, yeah. So in information security framework, the key component if we talk about as per RBI framework. One is the board approved cyber security policy should be in place. Means organization should develop cyber security policy that should be approved by the board. Second is the we should identify those assets which require protection. It could be your data, it could be your application, it could be your any business plan, and we should categorize those information, and based on the risk perception we should apply the control. IT risk assessment, how we do for each identified asset, we do the risk assessment and kept in the shape of the risk register. Accordingly, we are maintaining those risks and we come out the left out risk. What is the role-based axis? So axis normally in organization is found based on their role. So role-based axis, there is a design document, there is some kind of applicability. So that way you should see in the organization whether roles are clearly defined. If defined, are they applied, enforced in the system and working effectively? And between roles there should be some kind of segregation of duty as a control. Say for development is a software development team should not have access to the prod environment, or say for a particular user is working as a normal user should not have a privilege of the privileged user. There is another domain, incident management. Incident means all security events are logged, or events are logged are pushed to the centralized SOC monitoring, and monitoring through monitoring the logs, the event are the incidents are identified and recorded, and wherever we found a security incident, that should be shared with the RBI at a periodic interval, particularly it is a quarterly. Then cyber security preparedness. Cyber security preparedness indicator normally talks about the operational effectiveness of an organization in the form. What are the cyber security preparedness indicator? Here, if you just evaluate, say for key performance indicator are there. Key performance indicators say organization apply the security patches on various operating system or various database system. So those patches we have a certain kind of guidelines. That's are there. Are they applied or not? Or you can take example of the antivirus. Say for antivirus is the KPI, whether KPI for server. So for server KPI for server, say for we have to operating system of the server is Windows. We are applying those secure antivirus patches. So those and KPI in the security is the 100%. It means all servers should be applied antivirus patches timely. So these KPI or the indicator decides the level of the preparedness. Yeah, that kind of monitoring should be there. For normally all these operating system or database, they are hardened with baseline, and a periodic review is undertaking vulnerability management. So periodic review which we call vulnerability management should be conducted because threats are all dynamic. Cyber crisis management plan. Key indicator for this cyber security, the organization should have a cyber crisis management plan. That this plan where it talks about, one is the four aspect: detection, response, recovery, and containment. Means organization can survive if there is cyber incident. So having cyber crisis management plan is utmost important when we are reviewing the IS framework of an organization. And cyber security awareness and training. So periodic training awareness should be conducted. So basically this IS framework Here we discuss the key component. So lot of component are there. When we are reviewing the IS framework, design level we should verify, well, these are those components defined in my master direction of the RBI are part of the cyber security policy or not. Second is, if part of the design document or policy, are those implemented or not? If they implemented, those control are working effectively or not? The next area is IT operation. IT operation basically the more of the system development life cycle. Either you acquire a software or you develop a software. So it is focusing more of a software development life cycle. When we develop, acquire a system, are we following those practices which are defined for a secure development eh, of of a software development? And when we develop, are we doing the quality check? Once quality checked, what is the sign off process? Once sign off process is what is the change management, how we deploy. So that way, the complete life cycle we have to review in the IT operation part, and for monitoring those systems, whether those IT enabled MIS are we able to call out from those systems. The next domain is the IS audit. IS audit. So there should be some kind of internal audit in an organization. Internal audit means organization should have a IT audit policy. That policy should be approved by the board or the audit committee, and the each application system based on the risk perception eh, should be audited, and the coverage and the periodicity reporting should cover the entire risk perception within a IT process or the system. And the compliance means more of the tracking of the of the issues. BCP. So next is the business continuity plan and disaster recovery plan. Disaster recovery plan is the IT infrastructure available to invoke the BCP. So these plan whether are in place, whether it is BCP plan or DR plan, for which all the system we should have the BCP means critical. How we identify critical? That is by the business impact analysis. So the to prepare a BCP, whether organization has conducted business impact analysis. Impact means a particular process or system is not available for a period. So what is the maximum tolerance an organization can afford to for a customer service? And for this BCP and DR plan readiness, there should be a at least annual BCP drill or DR drill should be conducted. The last aspect is the IT service outsourcing. As you know, we have in today's context, we have a lot of technological partners. Those technological partners are critical to provide to services to our systems. So that way, the outsourcing of any process is a manage the there should be some kind of governance mechanism for outsourcing a process. It means outsourcing a process is the responsibility of the board or the top management. Yeah. So decision whether to outsource a particular process rest is a strategic plan. Normally perception is the critical processes or the services, no, we do not outsource. We outsource which either we do not have a skill, eh, or we are dependent on external factor. And how this outsourcing agreement works, this is through a particular agreement. In that agreement, what are the key control we have to check? First is what is our monitoring and oversight on the contract? Means suppose if we enter in SLA for providing a services, so what is the monitoring and oversight at our end, and whether we have a right to audit the process of outsourced service provider vendor or by the regulator. So these are the main criteria for this. So that way, what I feel, NBFC, while reviewing the information security framework in NBFC, first we have to understand the what is the business uh, ecosystem, and correlate what is the business objective and correlate with the infrastructure available. Accordingly, we should keep those control or the master direction of the RBI in our mind and cross verify if particular control is enough there. What are the compensatory control available at our end? And as I told you in the start, there are two category of NBFC. One is systematically important. Another is which are systematically the asset size is below 500 crore. For that, there is because their size is very low and their operation is very low. So that way, the recommendation for them is a few which are listed here. मतलब any NBFC which have a asset size up to 500 or below 500, for them all these control whatever discussed are not applicable. Few of them are applicable which are mentioned in this slide. One is they should have some kind of information security policy in place. What are the basic physical and logical access control in place, password policy in place, maker checker concept is there, information cyber security should be approved by board approved, data backup and restoration, and some system generated reports. So hello. Hello. uh, Thank you very much. Monolith will start the polling. Hello. So around 80% have a risk manage are part of risk management team. It's a good sign. So do we are the poll result is 78% they are part of risk management who are participating here, and the rest 20% they do not have a risk management. Yeah, very good. Hello, there is one question from whether RBI directive requires NBFC to migrate to IPv6 platform as per the national telecom policy. So is it mandatory? Yes, it is mandatory, that is required. Eh, eh. If there is some technical difficulty that you can place in your risk the risk management sheet, RCSA, and take your approval. So what are those technical difficulties? That way you can take over. But migrating to IPv6 is the mandatory requirement. Any other question? Now it audible? Not audible. So what is the problem? Hello. Hmm? But it is showing me as audible. Hello. Yeah. Hello. Now audible, na? Okay. Can you read out question? Hello. Hello. I mute. Okay.
Hello, Mr. Ashok. Mr. Ashok, are you able to hear me? This is
Yeah,
Anita here.
yeah, Nick.
All right.
So
We have a few questions from the participants. So may I read
yeah,
out some of the questions to you?
sure.
Sure. Right. One of the questions is, what is IT governance versus general governance?
Okay. IT governance, whether your IT objective are aligned with the business objective. Business objective means corporate governance, or IT governance means the IT initiative which you are taking are those aligned with the business objective. So broadly, this IT governance is subset of the corporate governance aligned with the corporate. Am I
All
able to
right.
clarify? Yeah.
Yes, sir. We have one more question. Should an IT service provider who is hosting key platforms for the NBFC be required to follow the guidelines in totality?
Yes. Say for NV, and the vendor in outsourcing, in IT service outsourcing, any vendor who is technology partner for NBFC should follow the information security policy or governance of that NBFC. So because all these technological partners are governed by the contract, and contract should have a clause. They will follow the uh, IT governance of that NBFC. Say for if you hired a particular vendor, say for issuing of the check, and that vendor does not have a BCP, and in your governance the vendor should have a BCP, then it is a conflict. So when we are taking any services as part of IT service outsourcing, which is governed by the SLA between the vendor and the NBFC, okay, they should follow the information security policy of that NBFC.
All right. We have one more question. How active is RBI monitoring implementation of the Master Direction Information Technology Framework for the NBFC sector?
Okay, here just I will reiterate whatever I told you in my initial. This guideline issued in 2017 that should be achieved by 2018, June 2018. Suppose if you fail to submit, there is a penalty clause. Penalty clause may vary up to any one is the any fine or stopping a particular services. Now the frequency, normally the frequency is annual inspection by the RBI, which does for each financial institution based on their frequency.
All right. So, can we take one more question?
Sure.
Sure. So there's another question. The RBI Master Direction requires NBFCs to migrate to the IPv6 platform as per the National Telecom Policy. Is this mandatory or really required? What are the options available for small NBFCs?
Okay. The migrative IPv6, because entire telecom is moving to IPv6. If there is a technical difficulty on a particular NBFC, which could be small or any size, the risk can be discussed within there, because in future, because some of the services may not support. That way, this is a mandate from the RBI to migrate on IPv6. In case if you have a technical difficulty, that you bring within a risk committee forum and take your approval. Yes, as of now we have, so this is the technical difficulty, and we will achieve by implementation by a particular timeline. Regarding mandate, yes, it is a mandate, move to IPv6.
All right. So we have time for one last question.
Sure, sure.
So currently, Cosmos is being transitioned to XBRL filing by the RBI, and hence some NBFCs are unable to integrate. So how should this be dealt with by the NBFCs?
Okay. One is the integration part, means automation. Another, the submission of those returns. Submission of those return is the mandatory. Integration depend upon the maturity of that NBFC. Suppose if there is technical problem or the NBFC is not mature enough for automate that process, eh, so that for that there is a no mandate that they should implement it, but the information should be submitted based on the frequency to the regulator.
All right, sir. Thank you. So it's time for us to conclude. So
Sure.
uh, participants, if you have any other queries, you can always write to us at info@riskpro.in, and we'll definitely get back to you with the responses. Mr. Ashok, I'd like to thank you for your time and
Thank-
for the wonderful presentation. And
thank-
to all the other participants, we apologize for the technical difficulties towards the end of the webinar. And Mr. Ashok, would you like to say anything?
Uh, Again, I would like to thank all participants. Because of the technical problem, I think some problem was there for 10 minutes. But if you feel, if you require any clarification, as informed by Tanika, you can send to us. Definitely, I love to clarify those doubts. But the cyber security, as I told you, is now a prime importance in the boardroom. It is not a one-time job. It is an annual review. Are we ready to survive in case of any cyber crisis? So that way, it is the not for a mandate from the RBI. It is it is a just like a mandate from the boardroom also. This is our top priority, and we should assess or evaluate ourselves at least annually. So that way, what I feel, all these processes which are mandated by the RBI in their master direction, the NBFC should do their self-evaluation also, or they can reach to any external consultant to do the check so that the organization can survive in case of any eventuality. This should be taken seriously. Second is the awareness. What I feel, recent one survey was conducted where actually if cyber breaches are happening and somebody say ki there is no cyber breach in the organization, doesn't mean that this organization is fully protected. Sometimes we do not know what is happened. So if you do not know, does not mean we are fully protected. So it is a more of a ongoing process, because in each year or in the dynamic environment, the cyber threats are keep on changing. Our policy, procedures, systems are keep on changing. So we should keep on evaluating ourselves and make aware our staff. So cyber security should be taken very seriously, uh, seriously, so that we can survive in at any point of time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ashok. And thank you to all the participants for their time. Have a great evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.